All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming tonight as we dive into our overview of what the annual filing season program is all about. So, we're going to talk about what's the annual filing season program for tax professionals or inspiring tax professionals. And we're just going to talk a little bit about what it is, what does it consist of, how do you get it, and what type of, let's say, what could you do with it, right? So we're going to go through that. As you guys let me know that you are here, I am making sure that everything is good for us tonight. And again, thank you all. Thank you all for coming. And we're going to go ahead and get started. But I am going to take you guys on a little tour over to the IRS.gov. So the annual filing season program, for short, we call it the AFSP, Annual Filing Season Program. And so what it does is it is an accreditation that you could acquire with the IRS. And what it does is it allows you to become listed in the IRS database as a accredited tax professional. Let's see what some of the qualifications are is to make sure that you are getting the training or that you're getting training. It is not required. It is not required. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what all does it allows you to do as a tax professional. Okay. All right. So kind of go in here. I'm going to go ahead and pause. Okay. So we're going to go over to the IRS.gov, and it's going to tell us, we're going to get some information, and then we're going to go through, some valuable information about this accreditation, about this listing. Now, this annual filing season test, it is not found on the IRS website at all. You will have to get a third party to administer that test. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so we're going to head right on over. And you guys should be able to see my screen now. And in the IRS.gov search bar, we're just going to search AFSP. Okay. Some requirements. You're going to obtain 6 hours of annual federal tax refresher course. And you're going to also do 2 hours of ethics. So combined, you're going to have 8 hours. You're going to need a total of 18 hours. So that's where your 10 hours of federal tax laws are going to come in order to be accredited and listed in the IRS database. Okay. These accreditations, once you get to the third party site, it is going to make sure that you have the right accreditation hours in the right places, if that makes sense, because there are different types of credit hours that you can obtain CE credits for. You do not want to have just different CE credits that does not list the hours where you need them to have to be. So if you're taking just a random CE accredited or a random CE course, let's say given by the IRS liaison, that may not qualify you under the 6th annual federal tax refresher or the 10 hours of federal tax law. However, if you do take that amount of training in each topic, then you can go ahead and complete the test and be listed in the IRS database. Here is where the IRS approved tax professionals whom are accredited gonna be listed. Okay. So that means that someone can search in your geographical area your information to see who has an accredited course or accreditation near them. Okay, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, this is the providers. So these are some people who does the test as well that you can get accreditation from. All right. Circular 230 is a requirement to know the ethics and basic information from Circular 230. And all Circular 230 does is it tells tax professionals what they should and should not be doing, what they are held in standards to the IRS for, anything that can make them become disbarred, anything that they are not being in ethics with when it comes to their professionalism. It also gives them information on where or how far do they represent their client. The accreditation does not allow you to represent your client fully when it comes to different things that may happen with that client. Or sometimes you get a new client, and I just want to make sure that as well, you're not just because you have accreditation does not mean that you can represent that client. You can speak with the IRS when it comes to anything in particular about the tax return that you have prepared. But when they are going into audits and examination boards and return originators, examination boards, and different boards like that, be able to, you will not be able to represent your client. Okay. So the Circular 230 outlines guidelines and information as far as tax professionals can and cannot to, as their professionalism allow, to represent their client in front of the IRS. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that that's what Circular 230 does. It is worth 2 credit hours. Okay. Now let's get back. It is worth 2 credit hours. Once you renew your P10, you want to, or if you're a new tax professional, you want to obtain a P10 number. Without a P10 number, which is a preparer tax identification number, you'll be very limited as becoming an IRS authorized or accredited tax professional, right? You want to make sure that you get your P10, your preparer tax identification number, or get it renewed, and you can do that now. So some unenrolled tax preparers are excluded or exempt from the annual federal tax refresher course. And of course, it says required to meet the program requirements, including 15 CE credits, 10 federal tax laws, 3 federal tax updates, and 2 ethics. 2 accreditations are CE credits in ethics, okay? Normally, if you are an enrolled agent, the enrolled agents, that your accreditations run different, okay? And your renewals, those are going to run different. And if I'm not mistaken, you are exempt from the annual federal tax refresher course, okay? Only because this information is combined in your test as well, okay? And that's a little bit of more information, okay? The directory is on the IRS website, where the annual filing season program participants who have completed their training, they will be listed in the IRS database. All right, that will be listed on the IRS database. All right, so let's take a look at some of the courses that are given for tax professionals that are accredited. However, they may not be the credits that you need in the right category. And this is going to help us explain that. Energy efficient home improvements is not an accreditation course that gives you credit in the areas that you need to be listed on the IRS database as an accredited tax professional. However, it does give you 1 CE credit, and that will be found in your P10 account once you complete the stakeholder liaisons training. You have to be there on time. You want to make sure that you register, and it is 75 minutes. You want to make sure that you be on time, which these trainings are good trainings. They provide great information where you will be able to help your clients in different areas or different things that may be going on with their taxes, right? There's consistent movement in tax laws, different changes. We know that every time we get a new administration in office, there's always some type of change, but we do monitor those pretty closely. The beneficial ownership information, the fencing that you guys may see or may not have seen going around, that's coming up November 19th. There is no CE credit offered for this webinar. That's because this is just an informational webinar. It's not an accreditation that's going to pertain to you learning some type of taxation. It's just an informational webinar. But the CE credit ones, you can get up to however many you want. You can get 120. If you do not have your accreditations in the right department, we'll go back over that again, to be listed in the annual filing season database, you will not be listed if you do not make sure that your accreditations, your CE credits, add up to this: 6 hours of annual federal tax refresher, 10 hours of federal tax law topics, and 2 hours of ethics. Any questions? All right, I'm going to see if I can pull up. So for tonight, I will not, just make sure, I will not I will leave where you choose to take your test if you're a tax professional up to you, simply because I am not affiliated with any third party whom does administer the test, but I do have my preference. It depends on how you learn best. If you are a reader, there's one for that. And if you are more of an interactive learner who loves to be with someone live, there are some for those as well. Again, make sure that you have your accreditations in the right area, and that way you will have your annual filing season program accreditation, and you will be listed in the IRS database. This does not authorize you to fully represent your client in front of the IRS. And when I say represent, I mean speak with them for the year that you have completed. If something comes up of which we support with the client, and some type of audit, some type of taxes owed, some type of lien or intent to wage garnish, or any type of fraud investigation. A lot of times, clients may not know that they're under an investigation. They will have letters that will just tell them, we need you to contact us for whatever. And when you call and there's some type of hold on the account, it could result in something being investigated. It may not be that it was fraud, but it's just making sure that it is not fraud. Sometimes there are multiple taxes submitted for the client or tried, and that can push a hold on the account. Sometimes when things like that happen, the IRS will investigate to make sure that the client did not try to submit any duplicate tax return, or Eve, sometimes you can do a amendment and cause a fraud hold or an investigation to launch. And that also, some reasons why they will not let you as a tax professional. Sometimes they would, but once it gets to higher up within the IRS, you will definitely need a support team to help you get that client cleared. Even if you're accredited, you won't be able to do it alone. All right. So that's all for tonight. You guys definitely take a look. We have went over some major important parts of the annual filing season program and what it is all about. You guys have a great night.